Hey YouTube, it's been a while. So I wanted to kind of give you guys a status of where I'm at with the build. So got the flaps. I got those Cherry Max, the rivet. I did that over the weekend. No reason in showing you that because it's the same process as normal riveting. Drilling those out really weren't. I gotta think about what I'm saying. Really wasn't that difficult as I suspected. The only thing is getting the little nubs, the tail ends, out of the flaps. Now there's enough space where they come together in that V. There's enough space that if you put the flap, if you ever have to drill that, put the flap on the edge. Well, the first thing is when you tilt the flap, make sure you don't tilt it towards the leading edge because it will get into the holes and inside the leading edge side or section of the flap, and then you got to get them all, juggle them out and get stuff. But as long as you tilt it towards the tailing edge of the flap, which is where it comes together like this, you can stand the flap up and just tap on the flap and it will drop all those down. I had no problem getting those out, which was, yeah, had no issue. So yeah, the flaps are in the rack and everything. So I just wanted to kind of give you guys a status of where we're at. So ordered the replacement parts, and this is no. I'm gonna adjust the camera here. No reflection on vans. I'm just gonna say this for the fuel tanks. For those that don't know, I have to redo the fuel tanks because I just didn't. The Pro Seal looked like, ugh. And it just, yeah. So we're going to redo the fuel tanks. Now, what's going to be different this time? Well, number one is I'm going to learn how to Pro Seal. I'm going to learn how it should be done professionally. And so I'll apply that. But after talking with Jesse Saint over at Saint Aviation, which, like I said, is just a blessing. Oh my gosh, Jesse, if you guys need avionics, if you need for anything, Dynon Advanced, they, Avidyne, they do Garmin too, but if you need any avionic work done, Jesse is definitely the shop to go to. I get a lot of planes and Jesse, and they go, oh yeah, Jesse did my avionics. And these are guys that aren't even from here. It's amazing how much work they do, and he's a great contributor to the RV, to the Vans RV groups and stuff. He's always out there on the forum. So Jesse Saint. So where am I going with this? Well, let me tell you. So I was talking to Jesse. Well, actually, I was talking to Jesse about the Cherry Max and everything, and he was helping me get the grip size and all of that and stuff. So I got the right ones ordered. And in that conversation, we were talking about fuel tanks, and he knows my trials and tribulations on the fuel tanks. And he said, hey, look, why don't you turn those into 80-gallon tanks? I was like, huh? I know that Saint Aviation, you can get 120. They actually do if you buy a Saint quick build or a builder assist quick build, and you go down to Ecuador with them and everything. They give you 120-gallon tanks. That's basically 260-gallon tanks on the wings. Now that's a lot of fuel. A lot of fuel. So we were talking and everything, and I said, well, I'm not going to do a 120-gallon tank, Jesse. And he said, no. He said, why don't you do 80-gallon tanks? And I was like, 80-gallon tanks? What are you talking about? And then he told me about a company called Sky Design Engineering, who is owned by, I believe, Ken, and I want to say his wife, a partner. I don't want to assume that, but Ken, I spoke to both of them, great people, and I apologize. And the only reason why I remember Ken's name is because I got it here on a piece of paper, and everything. So, yeah. So the thing is, I talked gave Ken a call, and great group of guys, and great company, and they make an 80-gallon. You can either do a retrofit or you can do a new build. All right. So because I have my skins on already on the leading edge of the thing, I'm gonna have to do a pseudo retrofit kind of thing. There's two bays that I'm going to have to remove, which is no big problem. They send you a template. They show you how to do it. So you get your retrofit kit and everything like that, and then they ship you everything you need to expand. Now you're still gonna need parts from Vans. The ribs, they don't provide you the ribs, and they don't provide you all of that. They do provide you the skins, the spar, all of that stuff, right? For the longer lengths, but the inner pieces, you still get those from Vans. So one of the things is Sky Design Engineering sends you a sheet that basically says, get this from Vans. So everything in blue you have to get from Vans, and everything that's not in blue on the sheet you get from them as far as the price. Now, the price, you already, if you do a knucklehead move like I did and you have to rebuy the tanks, you're looking at about $1,100 for all the parts that you have to get from Vans. And that's 2 sending units, because these tanks actually have 2 sending units in them, not just one. So you're a little bit more precise. So I went ahead and opted for the second one. So you got to get 2 sending units. There's some other things that you got to get. So with all that added up, it added I think it was $1,100. We'll just say $1,200 for all of those parts, and that's all the parts that you know it cost, and that's with freight, with shipping. Then it's an additional $1,500, and then you got thing for to get the parts. So you're adding, realistically, if you didn't screw up, from Vans, you're going to need a few extra parts, which probably add up to about $100. If you already have your fuel tank parts, $100, maybe $200. Don't quote me on that, but somewhere in that neighborhood. That's if you want to go with a second sending unit. You don't have to, but you can. I did. Fuel sender. That's the fuel gauge for those. The float that tells you how much fuel you got in the airplane. So, you know, roughly, if you don't screw up, you're looking at about extra couple $100 from Vans and parts. And then you're still looking at the $1,500 from Sky Design and everything. So, you know, a lot of you guys are asking now. I'm sure you're asking, is this safe, right? Because it's not a van. Well, let me tell you. So Ken, for those that don't know, Ken was on the team that originally built or designed the RV10. And I think he did a couple other RVs, but Ken was part of that team. He is a aeronaut. He's an engineer. So I trust him. And I know that Jesse, I trust Jesse. You know, and for Jesse to make the recommendation, you know, that's all I needed to hear. So, yeah, so in the next couple of weeks, it's going to be exciting. We're going to be doing some modifications to some of the work that I've already done. I got a notice from Miss Sandy that the skins from Sky Design Engineering are here. They showed up on the door. I was just at home. I had to do some things on the electrical panel on the tiny house that we're building for my daughter. Another story. But I was just home, and apparently I just missed them. So it looks like those parts are here. I'm still waiting on the parts from Vans now. I did tell Vans, don't ship them until everything's together. All the parts are together, so that, you know, there were some things that were back ordered and stuff. There's no reason to have parts come in, especially on a fuel tank. And the reason being is because the parts actually that I needed are the first set the first like iteration steps that I need to do, number one. Number two, I'm going to be going to Pro Seal school. So I'm going to be learning how to do Pro Seal stuff, and so I'm not going to need them anyways until about the middle of the month and everything. And so, yeah, it is what it is, but my skins are here, so I can start dimpling those. And the other thing is the parts that I did need from Sky Design, which is the template that goes over the forward, the leading edge of the wing. That will tell me what I need to cut out or remove and what rivets I need to remove and stuff. That is there, so we'll get working on that. So that's going to take me, a week or so to get those things cleaned up. But yeah, so it's exciting. So I'll in the link I'll link to Sky Design. Now a couple other things too. I'm gonna go, like I said, I'm gonna learn how to Pro Seal. It's actually just not the Pro Sealing. It's applying other PPG products as well besides just Pro Seal. And I was thinking, like I said, I know how not to do a fuel tank. I already know how not to do one. And then I'm going to do this one according to how I learned from school. And depending on how that goes, who knows? I know the fuel tanks keep a lot of builders up at night. I know a lot of builders, even the guys that do it all the time, say these RV10 fuel tanks are known to leak. So we're gonna see. We're gonna compare what I've built, and then what I'm going to build, and we'll see the difference, and then we'll make a decision. I don't know. I might be leaning towards maybe providing a service there. I don't know. I am buying the proper test equipment. I do have that equipment ordered, and the test pressures and things like that and stuff, and we'll talk about that when we get there. No reason to let that cat out of the bag. And so there's some other things. I've welded fuel tanks before for boats and stuff. So, but we're not welding here. These are wet tanks. So, but I do know how to test them. I know their certification pressure levels for certifications and stuff like that. So, yeah, it is what it is. But stay tuned and we'll see. But I just wanted to give you guys a quick update, let you know. Yes, I am slacking. I don't know if you guys see parts. We're slowly getting stuff out of the hangar because I'm getting ready to make all these smaller pieces and the bigger pieces, and we're starting to get rid of get rid of the junk and everything, getting ready to assemble an airplane. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But like I said, all of the control surfaces are done. I just gotta finish up these fuel tanks, and but the fuel tanks aren't control surfaces, but the wings I guess are. So I gotta finish the fuel tanks before I can finish the wings, and there'll be more about that as well. But yeah, the Cherry Max rivets worked great. This is not unique to Cherry Max rivets. It's to any of the riveting. If you're going to use the blind rivets in the spar, so when you have the spar, I wish I had a piece. Oh, I do. Hold on, I'll be back. Ta-da! So this is a rib, all right? So in the spar, so this actually goes into a spar, another piece that goes this way, and it has a lip, and it kind of captures. So think of it capturing like that, I guess. All right. So one of the things you have to be careful of if you're blind rivet. Now, if you're going to rivet solid rivet, it's a little bit different because naturally you're gonna be able to you'll see the rivet, the part, right? But you have to make sure that you capture these tabs here, right? Now the brine rivet is when you put it in, it's stiff enough, especially on the Cherry Max, you can actually push this piece down. And that's very important that you don't do that. So make sure, I have word of caution, make sure that you, that when you're riveting, especially these tabs and you're doing blind rivets, that you capture this tab. I had one that I didn't capture, so I had to cut the cherry rivet out, which was, those are difficult to do. Now the blind rivets, the aluminum ones are easy, but the Cherry Max, because that shank is steel, and the piece that comes up through it is solid steel. So there's a whole process of how to remove those. Yeah, it was fun. You're not gonna, man, you're gonna have to drill these out, tap them. There's a whole set of process. So just make sure you do it, just do it right the first time, right? Pay attention to those. Make sure, especially if you're gonna blind rivet, like I did along the spar on the Cherry Max, that when you, because there's a skin that goes over that. So a lot of people are like, why didn't you do that before you close it up? Well, there's skin goes over it, and you go through the skin, through the spar, and through this piece here. So, but when you're pushing that down, you will push those tabs out of the way. So just be careful of that, be mindful of it, and just, do it right, right? I mean, it was challenging, but hey, we got it done, and everything turned out okay. Yeah, that's really all I had. But I wanted to share with you what we're doing. Like I said, I'll put a link to Sky Design Engineering up, and you can look at. But yeah, 80 gallons. I looked at a lot of the performance numbers. Obviously, RV10, 11 gallons. So you say 12 gallons an hour at 80 gallons. I mean, that extends my mission, my flying quite a bit before I have to get fuel. I don't like to get below 20 gallons in a tank. So the 80 gallons will give me 60 gallons. 80 gallons in a tank, 40 gallons. So that puts me at the 4 or 5 hours safely. And I still got 20 gallons left over. You guys know where I'm going with that, right? So it does extend my missions. I went into ForeFlight and just kind of looked at where I could fly. And I could fly easily to everywhere I need to go without even stopping. I do have one trip. I'll have two trips. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But I have two trips that I'll probably fly on that I will have to stop. One is up almost to the northern part of Michigan. Obviously, I'll have to stop, safety. Like I said, I don't like to get below 20 gallons in my tanks, which is more, it's 2 hours at 11 gallon, 12 gallon. That's, an hour and a half. Gives me an hour and a half. It's well beyond, it's double the 45-minute that you're required. So that's the main thing. So there's two trips. There's one to northern Michigan and one to Colorado. And we'll talk about that a little bit later, what's going on in Colorado. But yeah, so those missions, absolutely. But that 80 gallons is just going to be phenomenal. If you can swing it, the $2,000 extra that it's going to cost you, it's a no bueno, no brainer. I think no bueno means something else, but yeah, it's a no brainer, and especially if you can do it before you even started building your wings, it makes life a little bit easier. It's the same configuration, but what you're doing is you're gonna take two of the bays and you're gonna use those. So your tank is gonna get, and when I say bay, there's a rivet line that runs down, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 bays now. It's amazing. Each bay is 5 gallons. There you go, 30 gallons per tank, 60 total, 2 tanks. So what you're going to do is add 2 more bays on. So you're extending you're lengthening your tank by 2 bays, and then you're shortening your leading edge of the wing by 2 bays, right? So yeah, all right. So I just wanted to touch base with you guys, let you know what we're doing, what we're planning in the shop. Yeah, a lot of things, getting things cleaned up. Oh my gosh, it's amazing all of the junk that I've accumulated. I don't want to say that we accumulate because you didn't have nothing to do with it. This is solely on me. All the junk that I've accumulated and stuff, but we're getting that out of here. I've been organized. That's why you see stuff on the shelf or on the desk behind me, benches behind me, because I'm going through organizing, getting things put up in their proper place, because we have to clear this space out, because we're gonna, like I said, we are after I get these wings done, we are gonna put the tail together, all the sub assemblies are done, so we're going to put those together. Then we're going to be building an airplane. The goal here is by the end of this year to have something that looks like an airplane sitting in this hangar. So yeah, life is good and everything. So just wanted to keep you guys posted of where I'm at. Like always, God bless. Take care of yourself. Take care of your family, and stay safe. Stay safe, and spend as much time as you can with your loved ones, man. That's what it's all about. And so yeah, I can't wait. Can't wait for these long flights in the RV-10 with Miss Sandy. It's gonna be fun. I look forward to it, and that's what I look forward to is flying with her on long flights and everything. So I'm starting to ramble, so I'll just have to say, be well, be safe. God bless.